The day my husband pushed me down the stairs, he called it an accident. His family believed him. His friends defended him. Even standing in the emergency room with a fractured hip and bruises running down my side, I was the one being blamed for overreacting. What nobody knew was that lying in that hospital bed gave me something I hadn't had in years: time to see the truth. And once I saw it, I stopped fighting for people who would never fight for me. Months later, when my husband opened his eyes in a hospital room and looked around, there was no one left beside him. My name is Emily Carter. I'm 38 years old, and for most of my marriage, I believed loyalty could fix anything. For 14 years, I stood beside my husband, Ryan. When he lost jobs, I supported him. When he argued with relatives, I defended him. When he made mistakes, I helped clean them up. I thought that's what marriage meant. But looking back now, I realize I was the only one carrying the weight. Ryan wasn't always cruel. That's what made everything so confusing. The man I married used to bring me coffee in bed on weekends. He used to leave little notes in my purse before business trips. He used to make me feel like we were a team. Somewhere along the way, that man disappeared. The criticism started slowly. Then came the insults. Then the constant reminders that nothing I did was ever enough. His family only made it worse. If Ryan snapped at me, they blamed stress. If he embarrassed me in public, they called it a misunderstanding. If I tried to explain how hurt I felt, they accused me of being dramatic. Eventually, I stopped speaking up. It felt easier. The day everything changed started like any other Saturday. I was carrying a basket of laundry upstairs when Ryan began arguing with me about money. Not because we were struggling, because he had spent thousands on another risky investment without telling me. When I questioned him, his face hardened. "You always think you're smarter than everyone else," he snapped. I remember standing near the staircase, trying to stay calm. "Ryan, I'm asking for honesty." Instead of answering, he stepped closer. Then it happened. A shove. Not hard enough to send me flying intentionally. Not gentle enough to call an accident. Just one angry push. My foot missed the step. The world spun. Then came pain. A terrible pain that exploded through my hip and lower back. I still remember hearing Ryan shout my name as I lay at the bottom of the stairs. At the hospital, doctors confirmed a fractured hip and multiple injuries. Ryan told everyone it was an accident. His parents believed him immediately. His sister called me clumsy. Somehow, I became the problem. Lying in that hospital bed, listening to people defend the man who pushed me, something inside me finally broke. Not my body, my illusion. For the first time, I stopped asking how to save my marriage. Instead, I started asking a different question. If these people could abandon me this easily, what else had they been hiding from me all these years? The answer came faster than I expected. 3 weeks after the fall, I was still recovering at home. Walking hurt. Sleeping hurt. Even sitting for too long hurt. But the emotional pain was worse. Ryan acted like a devoted husband whenever other people were watching. He brought me flowers. He asked how I was feeling. He told friends he was taking care of me. The moment we were alone, everything changed. He became impatient, cold, annoyed by my recovery, as if my injuries were an inconvenience to him. One afternoon, while organizing household paperwork from my laptop, I noticed something strange. Several overdue notices had been sent to a private email account I didn't recognize. At first, I assumed it was a mistake. Then I started digging. What I found left me staring at the screen in disbelief. Ryan hadn't just hidden one bad investment. He had hidden years of financial mistakes. Credit card debt, personal loans, failed business ventures, money borrowed from relatives, money borrowed from friends. Some of the accounts even listed our home as collateral. Our home. The house I had spent 12 years helping pay for. The house he nearly risked losing without ever telling me. For days, I reviewed statements, contracts, and account records. The deeper I looked, the worse it became. Ryan wasn't carrying the family. I was. Every emergency, every bill, every crisis. I had been quietly solving problems while everyone praised him for being the strong one. That realization changed something inside me. For years, I had fought to keep relationships alive. Now I was exhausted. I stopped arguing, stopped defending myself, stopped trying to earn respect from people determined not to give it. Instead, I made a plan. A former colleague reached out about an operations position in Toronto. The opportunity felt impossible a month earlier. Now it felt like freedom. I accepted the offer. Then I met with an attorney. Everything was done legally, carefully, quietly. By the time Ryan realized I was serious, the paperwork was already moving forward. His family called me selfish. His mother accused me of abandoning him. His sister said I was destroying the family. For once, I didn't respond. I simply kept moving. 3 months later, I landed in Canada with 2 suitcases and a fresh start. For the first time in years, I felt peaceful. Meanwhile, life back home began unraveling. Without someone fixing every problem, the cracks became impossible to ignore. Arguments erupted between relatives. Financial issues surfaced. Old resentments exploded. Then one rainy evening, while unpacking boxes in my Toronto apartment, my phone rang. The caller was someone I hadn't spoken to in months. After a long pause, they said words I never expected to hear. "Emily, Ryan is in the hospital. Emily, Ryan is in the hospital." For a moment, I simply stared out the window of my apartment. Rain tapped softly against the glass. The Toronto skyline blurred beneath gray clouds. "What happened?" I asked quietly. "He had a heart attack." The words hung in the air. Ryan was only 42. I thanked the caller and ended the conversation. Then I sat there for a long time. Months earlier, news like that would have shattered me. I would have booked the first flight home, dropped everything, rushed to his side. But something had changed. Not my compassion, my perspective. I still didn't wish him harm. I simply understood that his life was no longer my responsibility. A week later, another call came. This time, it was Ryan's cousin. The person sounded uncomfortable. "He's asking about you." I didn't know what to say. "How is he?" I finally asked. There was a pause. "Honestly, not great." Over the following days, bits and pieces of the story reached me. Ryan had expected the hospital room to be full. His parents, his sister, his friends, the relatives who had defended him for years. The people who always claimed family came first. At first they visited, then less often, then not at all. Everyone had excuses. Work, kids, travel, other obligations. The same people who criticized me for leaving suddenly had no time for him. One afternoon, Ryan woke up after a medical procedure and looked around the room. Nobody was there. No flowers. No visitors. No familiar faces. Just silence. The silence, I was told, affected him more than the surgery itself. For the first time, he saw what I had seen years earlier. Most of those relationships had survived because someone was doing the work to keep them alive. That someone had been me. I had organized birthdays, checked on relatives, solved family problems, remembered anniversaries, held everything together. When I left, the structure slowly collapsed. Not because I wanted revenge, because no one else cared enough to maintain it. Several weeks later, Ryan sent me a message. Just one sentence. "I finally understand what I lost." I read it twice. Then I set my phone down. There was nothing left to say. Some lessons arrived too late. That evening, I walked along the waterfront as the sun broke through the clouds. The air felt lighter. So did I. The woman lying injured at the bottom of those stairs was gone. In her place stood someone stronger, someone free. And while Ryan sat alone facing the consequences of his choices, I was finally moving forward. Not with anger, not with revenge, but with peace. And sometimes, peace is the ending people never realize they should have protected.